is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity, telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences.
They call me a god. 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 Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Oh! Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a god. 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 I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. Wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me. Put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god.
I'm called of God. Called of God. And Tim Ballard told me he'd been called of God. Some wild-eyed prophet like...
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you. I'm a man with a different one, shit like.
So I think Crusher got kicked out while we were doing the start of the thing. She was here, and then she wasn't, just like that. So she'll be right back, I'm certain, because she had some things that she wanted to talk about. Of course, it's a bittersweet day, and so while we'll wait on her to come back, and I wanted to tell y'all that I have been working on my flow write-up thing, and I'm going to put it up, but not on Crusher's because I don't want to give her a copyright infringement, but I'm going to put it up and I'll alert y'all to it so y'all can laugh. Okay, Crusher's back.
What's up?
There she is. There she is.
What's up?
Oh, and there she is too.
Huh? Oh, I was like, what? Okay.
I'm going to take myself down and then you can do your info thing here.
All right. Thank you. I missed the intro. I was, let me open this real quick. Still opening things and gathering things to share. Let's see. Hold on just one second, y'all. Just talk amongst yourselves like y'all have done I could see a convo going on, in the chat before I even went live. Come on. This can't be this hard. Okay, I just saw a thing on East Idaho News. It said child missing in Rexburg found safe or something. I don't know. It went away. My back button finally kicked in. So, how it goes. I'm button happy too. Child missing in Rexburg has been found. So that's good. Whew, I didn't know there was a child missing. Trying to get to the damn homepage or whatever on East Idaho News. Come on. And this right here. Okay. All right. Now I'm ready. Oh, thank you, KJ. Yeah, I had started earlier so I could tell you thank you. And I do thank you always. You're one of my staunchest supporters. That's for sure. And I appreciate you and Mr. Wayne. You guys are definitely people of your word. And I strive to be like that more and more every day. And I just really respect that. So, I know that a lot of people had a lot of, questions, worries, or whatever. And I get it. I'm scrolling backwards so I can get to the top of the chat. Allegedly. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just I'm trying to read. I just rated here yet seeing this headline. Okay. I don't know. It's good to see you guys though. Let me just stop looking at all the things and let me just do what I do. So today, we got the news that the judge signed off on JJ's remains, not Tylee's. So I have to say that I'm only half relieved. It's like no matter what, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or anything. I don't know. I'm just being honest with you and how I feel. And, kind of my first knee-jerk reaction or whatever, because I'm human and I don't think about all the things first, I just I can tell you how I feel and then I adjust as I go, right? But, the first initial reaction was, Jason told me that he was in on Facebook or whatever, in a Facebook group. They had posted 8 minutes before that they had released JJ's remains. And I kind of knew that was coming because I just can't share everything publicly, I just don't like to put myself out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the discretion of my family, and whether they want to share it or not is up to them. But just on my part, I'm measured and very measured. And because it's not just it doesn't matter how I feel. It goes into it. It goes into the equation, but it matters how everybody as a collective feels. And I represent my family as far as, I don't speak for them, but I represent them and I want to do the best I can in that representation. It's such a tricky situation if you really think about it, because there's multiple family members and there are a lot of different feelings towards different members of the family. And my thing is that, research, do what you do, but do it in good taste and treat others as you'd want to be treated. Okay. And I'm not here to form enemies. I'm not here to form friends. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it is what it is. And I can't control what the other side does or doesn't do, or how they react or how they respond or how they feel. I don't know. I can only assume and or treat them like I want to be treated. So, I mean, if I want to put myself out there for scrutiny, then by all means, throw shade, but that's just not my place. That's not how I view things. I don't see it as being constructive. Okay. But so I know that many people, this is just such a tricky situation, but either way, the JJ's remains were released, and my parents will come out with a statement as soon as they finalize some things, and with other members of the family, and so that's on them. I'm not here to speak for them or anything more than that. Again, I was only half relieved because those kids have been together, and I just can't bear in my soul for them to be separated, even though I know that they're no longer occupying their bodies. They're together. Those kids clung on to each other, and I mean, throughout life, to soothe themselves, to comfort themselves from the horrible mother that they both inherited, right? She's the only mother that they knew, and that was their mama, no matter what. I mean, it was their mama. And we're not here because this is a happy ending to the story. We know how the story ended for them, and I just want to do right by them in their death. I want to honor them. I want to give them the rights, the dignity, the respect, and everything that they deserve. Those kids have been exploited. They've been murdered. They've been just, what do you call it? Oh my gosh, I can't think of that word. Desecrated. And I mean, that's enough, It's time to start. If we haven't done it already, if there's any of us who aren't doing it already, is to be what those kids need today. If they were here today, if you don't believe in heaven, if whatever it is, just if they were watching you right now, how would they feel? Would they feel like that's how I do it. I'm just like, would they be proud of me? Would they want me to do this or treat other family members like that? Or other people? How do they want me to represent them? How can I bring about change so that there's not another, and there almost was, y'all, not another Tylee and JJ. And I mean, if you follow and know about the Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie case, then and I know that they were, in my opinion, gonna be another Tylee and JJ. Another statistic, right? And then a bunch of people saying, "Oh my God, we should have solved all the signs and the things like that." Still, nothing has changed, except for some people becoming more aware, informed. There's nothing wrong with being informed, right? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with being educated and not taking a stab in the dark on these things. I can honestly say that I am informed, the most informed I've ever been in my entire life. And it's important to me. It used to not be important, but things kind of prioritize themselves, right? So, hold on, I got makeup everywhere. But I appreciate y'all being here. I did, like I said, I knew that this was coming. I had talked to my mom last week, and we weren't sure why it was under seal or whatever. And I'm assuming that may be what, which it didn't register for me that day, that Chad Daybell went before Judge Boyce here recently, you know, when they didn't bring up the whole DNA thing. You know, it was like, hey, we need to be separated and severed from Lori's trial, because we just need to, because she makes my client look super duper guilty. So ever since John Pryor started representing Chad Daybell, he began doing, I think, what any smart lawyer would do. I'm not paying any compliments, just I kind of understand it now better than I did then. But he started distancing his client, Chad Daybell, from the Hot Mess Express, Lori Damn Daybell, right? And he started calling her Ms. Vallow. And it began that day. And he's been doing it ever since. And so it's just funny how, not funny, but how one of John Pryor's biggest arguments was about the DNA and retesting what the state had already tested, and yada, yada, yada. And then nothing right now. You know, it's just like, well, where are you going to be doing some DNA testing, John? What's up? So it's just kind of funny. But I don't know. Do y'all have any questions? I really wish that the torture game would stop because and that's like a whole nother level to this, you know, is them not releasing the children's bodies immediately, or, you know, soon after, kind of like the Idaho 4 victims, you know, they were released to their families. Why and why not? You know, like why in this case and not in that case, and so on and so forth. So in some ways, just being a family member and just, you know, just being raw and real with you is, sometimes I feel like this is intentional and intended to torture us more, to control us in a way and dictate our emotions and our healing process from, you know, how you can even respond in a court of law. Like during the trial, you cannot show emotion. You cannot burst out in tears. And I mean, I'd hate to see if you did, because I don't know if Court Daddy, there was this one bailiff there that we called him Court Daddy, right? Because he would micromanage everybody the whole time. And he was young and cute and everything, you know, but that only goes so far. I was like, good Lord, settle down, dude. But I understand, but I also don't. I can see both sides of that argument or whatever, or the importance of it. I mean, kind of like the whole not ever wearing the jail garb to your hearings. I mean, basically, we've only seen Lori in her jail outfit, as Melanie Gibbs said. What her initial, a couple court appearances, maybe a handful. And Chad, I mean, he's been, you know, his little red tie and blue tie. He's never in stripes. I've never seen Chad in stripes. Have you? Am I missing something? Or not remembering? I don't know. It's crazy. But, and then once they go to prison, okay, well, they're not in court anymore. So what is this? Again, it seems to cater a lot to, it seems to cater a lot more to the defendants than it does a victim, any victim or living family member who is left to shoulder the blame. And I mean, not the blame, but to carry the burden, to represent, to show up, to hold those people accountable. That's our jobs. And there's not much, I don't know what the word is, leniency, or I don't know what to say. There's not much, there's not many rights we have. But anyway, so we're going to talk. I'm going to bring KJ up. She's backstage. She's going to explain to us, kind of the filings and everything and the ruling, and she's going to give it to us KJ style. And yeah, Faye, I know. And thank you, Beach Bum. Appreciate that. I hope you're feeling better. But I'm going to bring KJ up, and then we'll go over Melanie Pawlowski and her computer tampering charges, right, that they had dropped, and then, kind of brought them back up. And I like to think that it's part of a grander plan. And because you don't get to do this and get away with it. And every one of these people, in one way or another, and some of them way more than others, tended to come out unscathed, untouched, and that bothers me. So, all right, let me bring KJ up. Hey.
How's my Louisiana sister doing?
Just, coon-assing.
I know we have a lot of questions. I do, you do. I've been reading the comments, and I'm just going to start off by saying this before we get into anything. I just have a statement to make, and that is, this is a beautiful day.
Yeah. I don't know yet. I think after the live stream, because this is how I process my feelings, is right here with you guys. So it hasn't really.
I just want you to understand something. This has been weighing heavy on me for all this time. And it's been weighing heavy on many people that have been there, that love you, your family. This is a beautiful, wonderful blessing. And Cresha, somebody wants to talk to you real quick, okay?
Oh, Mr. Wayne.
Okay. Yes.
Hi, Cresha. How you doing today?
Oh, good, Mr. Wayne. How are you?
I'm doing great. Getting better. Couldn't stand it.
Right?
Yeah.
Fall over.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm proud for you.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys have been just amazing.
Yeah,
I wish y'all knew that. I wish y'all could see you through my eyes.
probably pretty dang ugly, but
No. I really do appreciate. I do. This is not any process that any person or persons or family or anybody should ever have to go through. But you have to go through it anyways, and it's so much. I can't imagine it being without good people like you and KJ. And
you're
I just
welcome.
appreciate y'all.
Want to say hi? Hadn't talked to you in a while. But.
Yeah, I know it's been a hot minute. We need to boil crawfish and stuff. It's time for us to go to Tennessee. I know.
Yeah, tell Mr. Jason I said hello.
I will. He's probably watching from the room.
Yeah. Y'all have a wonderful, safe evening.
You too.
See you, Cresha.
Thank you.
Okay. So now you know that I brought my one and only into the situation. You've got to understand how important it is for so many people. We've all been praying. We've all been hoping for this, Cresha. We knew it was going to come. But it's not a finality, but it is almost like a way for many people to get just a little bit of light in closure. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. When I was talking to that reporter earlier, he asked, you never know what questions they're going to ask. And, he asked me if I felt like this was any kind of my own closure without anybody micromanaging it. Cause you can't risk, you can't react in the courtroom. There's all these things that we cannot do and can't be and can't feel and can't do this, can't do that. Because it'll infringe the rights of the defendants, the murderer. Okay. And when he asked me that, I didn't realize that, but when he asked me that, I was like, yeah, it will be, and that is, I don't know what that feels like yet, but it seems like it will be somewhat of a relief,
Well, I do know that I have seen you through these last few years.
Mhm.
You've stayed strong, you've stayed determined, but I've seen you cry
Yeah.
and I've seen you upset. And I know that a light pretty much was sent toward Larry and Kay. But I just want you to know that you are the backbone. You are so very precious to me and to Wayne. You've worked so hard. You've never let anything deter you. There have been hiccups here and there that anyone in
Yeah.
your position would have to deal with. It's called trauma.
It's navigating. Yeah, it's called resilience, I think. I don't know any other way to be, but that means so much to me. It really does. I've always thought of myself as that, as like I work in the background. And it's they're the face of it, if you will. When people see them, they relate, or see Tylee and JJ and Charles, they relate the grandparents, they were the public front. And I've always seen myself as, kind of the moderator, if you will, or whatever, just working in the background. It's for justice through understanding. You taught me that phrase right there, which I did share in my interview with the reporter. I don't know if you'll, use it or not, but just in case, just
Well,
know that.
I've always said that everything I have, my catalog, anything you need to go towards your channel, I've already expressed that. But I just want to say this, and to all the people listening right now, any tears that you shed for these victims, these beautiful children, for Tammy, for Charles Vallow, was an honorable man, for
Mhm.
Joe Ryan,
Mm.
every tear that you've ever shed about this case, folks, God is hearing you. I just know in
Mhm.
my heart.
Uh-huh. Definitely. Definitely. It just hasn't, again, it hasn't registered for me yet. Y'all know I'm slow with that. It sucks. I guess from the trauma, you gotta process it. And this is part of my process. You guys doing this, talking about it, is part of my process. It's in when I'm reflecting later on after this is over. That's when I'll start processing it and going through it and feeling it and dealing with it that way. I already started looking up. I do it through research. That's how I deal with things. And so I started looking up the Idaho code as to how uh, how the remains of a loved one, how they're released, and it becomes like a public health thing. And so I just read all that to kind of answer a lot of my questions, justice through understanding. And you can't transport a body without it being um, cremated or whatever. You just have to go through all the red tape. And I know that I don't know anything of as of late, but I have, over the years, my parents have shared with me, and we've talked about before, about having a couple, and maybe in Louisiana and in Idaho, and maybe, I don't know, Arizona, um, having some celebration of life ceremony for them, to honor them, for anybody who's around who can come. You'll be invited. As soon as I know, you'll know.
Well, I know that Mr. Wayne and I both will be there for you. I am not going to ever give up on that. That I
And
want to hug you and hug Larry and Kay and Jason and all of you. I mean, I hate that it has to be like this is the reason.
right,
But
right.
I just want you to know that so many beautiful things, JJ and Tylee, they had to die a terrible death, but they gave so much more than people realize. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I just wish I could explain it.
It is. It's again, I have used to say this way before Silver Linings podcast came about. Okay. And so these are those silver linings. It's like the tragedy is what brought us together. These victims that brought us together. Okay. We were concerned. We were more concerned than any of their parents, of these people, these deplorable people. And it brought to life for me humanity. It makes me continuously makes me not lose faith and hope in the world that I live in, because I see the love and everything in you guys. You guys are humanity. We represent humanity, and it's how we come together as humans and deal with these things, you know? I mean, and if anything, another thing that I think does justice to the victims and honors them in their own way. I mean, the blood was spilled for this, okay? It paid the way for this. And to share that with you guys let me share that with you. And I love that. And y'all just say the best things about them. And I appreciate that.
There's
But
so,
I think the
so
best way is just to honor and respect them.
yeah, there's
And
so many people that have these questions. And at this point of hearing this news today, I understand that I've got these questions too, Cresha. I really do. But do I have to have answers today? I would like them, but I understand that the priority right now is this is something that many have prayed about. Many have really wanted in their heart. If they didn't pray, they wanted in their heart for this to happen, and it was going to happen. It's just, those unanswered questions that people don't want to take them. I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to, because y'all know how some people, they want to look past the beauty and the blessing,
right.
what has happened, to start going down this road of, well, we need to know whether Tylee and JJ are going to be together, which are very good questions.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
who's going to get the,
Irrelevant. Yeah.
and is the funeral, and what happened. And let me just go ahead and just right off the bat, y'all, when John Pryor had his little Zoom hearing last time, they talked about there wasn't going to be any DNA testing. And by the way, y'all, that was a bluff on John Pryor's part.
Yep.
Bluff, pure and simple. He was never going to have anything tested. And so
But that does answer a question for us also.
yes, because the state entered into a stipulation, which means they both agreed to go ahead after John Pryor said in court he wasn't going to be doing any more DNA testing. And Judge Boyce did it immediately. And some are not happy with Judge Boyce. They think that he should have done this sooner. That's, I don't know the ups and downs of that, but I do know this. As soon as John Pryor said the words out of his mouth that he wasn't going to do any more DNA testing, this order came out. And for those that are wondering about Tylee and why she's still under custody of the government of Idaho there, I have a theory. It might not be, the answer, but it is something I've been thinking about and reflecting on. Folks, we saw the DNA evidence in Lori's trial, and it was who?
Yeah.
It was Tylee. Okay. And so they're going to use this evidence in Chad's upcoming trial. And in order for everything to go properly through that, they have to make sure that there's not anything from John Pryor saying, well, we could have tested this or that. I think because the evidence of the pickaxe, I think they have to hold on to her remains until after Chad's trial is adjudicated. That's a theory. It's a damn good one. And
I mean, it's that could be the only reason, right? I mean, it has to be because it's linked to his adjudication process. Right? I mean, they're not just doing it for a trophy or anything.
About this now, what if something happened at the end and Chad's appeal, right? Now think about Lori. She's in the appeals process, right? But her appeals got nothing tied to any DNA evidence. None of her appeals, if you look down the questions that her appeals attorney is asking right now, none of it has to do with DNA. It has to do with her incompetence and opening statements or closing statements. Has no question to an appeals court about DNA.
Yeah.
So they have to hold on to Tylee. This is just theory. They have to hold on to Tylee to go through the appeals process, which is very unfortunate, because I agree with everyone on here that says those two children need to be laid to rest together. I believe that would be the optimal thing to do.
Or to at least leave it up to us to figure that out. You know, like, can we decide? This is the only decision we are getting in this entire thing is when, you know, like, can we please, like I said last night, Chad Daybell is the only privileged person, allegedly, here on this planet who's had the privilege of bearing those kids, in my opinion.
Robinette Bannister says in the comments, there's evidence against Chad directly to the body. We don't want anything to be thrown out if they need to show proof or retest.
That, and I mean, you have to think they're not in their bodies anymore. I mean, that's why it never came up on my radar, period. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy, right? You know, like after the kids were found and everything, it didn't even, like, it was a non-issue for me. It didn't exist until I heard my parents, you know, talking about they want JJ and Tylee's bodies. And I was like, whoa, oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's so important. You see what I'm saying? Because in my heart, in my mind, I had already reconciled, you know, with the fact that they are no longer occupying their bodies and they're together in heaven. Right. And so it just didn't even come up to me. And it's just crazy, right? It's just so many things to deal with at one time also.
Well,
and in a public atmosphere.
Yeah, I am a person who really tries my best to be truthful. I'm not always there 100%, but when you say that you saw Charles and JJ, it pierced my heart so to the core of me. I really feel, I mean, in my heart of hearts, y'all. I mean, this is just me. I'm right here telling you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind, Cresha, that you were given that gift.
I think so too. I think so too. I just felt foolish, you know. Some people don't believe in that, and whatever. Teach their own. I know what I felt. I know what I've experienced. It was. I talked these things out with Jason as it was happening, and you know, because I'm just like, what is going on? It's weird, but I mean, the only thing I can logically equate it, or you know, I don't know, clock it to or whatever, is the fact that whenever your trauma happens, you're opened wide up. All your senses, everything is wide open, and it's actually like overstimulated. I was always on, what's that damn word? Hypervigilant and high alert. I was just always looking out for Alex, for danger. Okay. And it's just been blow after blow after blow. I mean, in rapid succession. Okay. It's just like, okay, your uncle's murdered. And then, I mean, it wrecked my world. It shocked me to my core. And I think that's how I explain it away, I guess, is that it just opened me up, and I don't know why things happen. I don't know why I experienced what I did, but I'm just sharing what I did, and it makes a lot of meaning to me. It really helps me find my way through all this. Those experiences, because there's more than one, you know. It's just not lately, but I just think that they want justice too, and that's how they do it.
Sarah Adams says, in chaos, you feel it all. The triggers are many. The healing is slow. But in time it comes. You have to be vulnerable before you can be fully strong again.
Right. That's beautiful, Sarah. Thank you. Oh my God, that's beautifully put. And real. That's real life, real talk right there.
And Trace on the case says, just think how many people do have these experiences and feel like you do, that they'll be considered crazy, so they don't talk
Mhm.
about it.
Or you have assholes like Chud and Lorhor and friends who have them and exploit them, and just, you know what I mean? Like they prey on people and stuff, and they pervert that too. And so yeah, I'm like, wait, because I mean, trust me, I've been like, I'm not trying to sound like Julie Rowe. I'm not trying to. This is weird, and it's weird, but
Well,
you know,
Marjorie, from your and my, you and I's private talks, I have seen the struggle in you to try to say, you know what, I know what's happened to me. I know
Mhm.
how I'm feeling. I know what I've seen, and I know what I felt. And I've actually felt your struggle in even sharing it.
Mhm.
I'm just I'm just thankful that you have been able to say, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going
Mhm.
to be who I am. I'm not, I mean, my goodness, folks, we're all going to die one day.
Right. Nobody knows what's on the other side of that. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody. We have, um, things to go off of, and from history and everything, and uh, but that's all. We still don't know. We know what we read and things like that, but I mean, nobody knows exactly what that's going to look like, and I like that. I like that. It's not pre-planned for me. It's like, okay. um,
Well, I
I
got a,
don't.
I
Go
got a
ahead.
for you. And I don't mean to change the subject, but there are so many comments of all these names of all these people that have been here day in and day out, seeking justice for these kids and for Tammy and for Charles and Joe. And I got a question. It's unrelated, and I'm just going to ask you, and you just be upfront and honest.
I will.
Okay, here we go. Here's the question. We
Okay.
both know that Lori has heard the news.
You think? Or
Okay.
let's just, yeah. I thought
What
about that earlier today.
what do you think? What do you think I mean, how do you think she's handling it?
Well, she's a control freak, right? That's my first instinct. That's the first thing that came to my mind, right? She's a control freak. And the fact that she doesn't have control or say so over the remains of her children, or, in this case, JJ, I know it's burning her ass. Because that's the one thing she was not going to submit to. It was uh, JJ, first of all, not living with her, or first, just not living at all. She just took it upon herself to just wipe him out
Well,
and to take him away from everybody.
but she's sadly mistaken. She wasn't willing to let JJ and Tylee go to the people that loved them the most.
Mhm.
And now look where JJ, he's being released his body, but we know he's in heaven. She absolutely, she underestimated. She
Right.
underestimated
She has no
the
patience.
power of love.
Right. She doesn't understand that. And that makes me sad. It really does. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I am the way I am. It's aggravating sometimes because I do have my moments where I am pissed off. I have moments where I can't stand the sight or to hear their names, Lori and Chad, and what they've done. I can't stand them for that. But the good part in me, the part that I have to say is God, is the part that's like, but I feel sad for them because they will never know what love is like. It's obvious, that's that's a giveaway, dead giveaway. And that makes me sad because, um, they're going to have to come back a couple more lives before they get that. Just saying. So stupid. And it's over, like Larry said, over what? Over what? Money, power, and sex. For what? Okay. She's sitting in a jail cell and he's on his way. So
Well,
All right.
the good news is John Pryor has showed his hand on the DNA stuff.
Yep.
He's not going to be uh, testing anything else. We know JJ ain't going to have to go through any of that anymore. He's going to get to go wherever it is that God wills him to go. I don't know the
Mhm.
specifics. I'm not here to, it does not matter to me at this
We've
moment.
gotten this far. Yeah, it's the rest of
He
it
is
will
not
work
in
itself
a
out.
freezer he's not going to be in a freezer anymore. He's
Right?
get to go and have an
And
actual
be
marriage.
honored. Yeah. And be honored, right? By us who love him so much. And, in a way, right now I'm feeling like this just came to me. It's just, I feel kind of guilty too, because, it's like, did I do everything within my power to protect him, as his aunt, but then that role was taken away
No,
or changed. And, you go through the woulda, shoulda, couldas, and I know I don't spend much time there, but that was just another feeling I just felt, it's just like, oh, but I think that's just normal human behavior. I really do.
Agnes Lamb, at this point, we have gotten the news today that JJ is going to be released. There have been speculation that Kobe is the next of kin. The bottom
Mhm.
line is that really, the bottom line,
Do you
y'all,
see Larry? Do you see Larry? Like, is somebody telling him no? That's all I'm saying. That's all the man has wanted to do is bury his grandson
that's all he does.
honorably.
Jay and you and Jason, all of your whole family has wanted. And at
Right.
this point, it just has to be worked
And
out.
it's really, you got to think about it. How does this, how is this done right by JJ? At the end of the day, I don't care how anybody feels. Are we doing the right thing to honor the children? Do they want everybody fighting? Do they want everybody, being territorial and controlling things? No, that's what killed them. Okay. No, they're not here anymore. It's just, it's so weird.
Until we get answers on
Right.
that are specific, excuse me, I would say people need to go back and listen to Kay Woodcock's victim impact statement. And that
Mhm.
says it all right there. To me, the woman was graceful, the woman showed love, and your whole family has rose above this time and time again in the depths of your pain and suffering and trauma. Y'all have proven to the world that y'all are good,
Mhm.
loving, caring people. And I just have faith in God that whatever happens, there is going to be a beautiful, beautiful resting place for JJ and Tylee. And we're never gonna forget them ever. I'm not gonna forget them ever.
Um,
I'm not gonna turn
Good.
the page.
That's not a bad thing, that's not a bad thing. They captured your heart, and I believe that if we don't, like they've done through you, they've changed you, right? I've seen you
Yes.
change myself. Um, and that's the beauty in it. That's how they live on, and that's how I see it, is they live on through that's how wait, I'm kind of running my sentence together. That's how their spirits live on, is through us. We carry them, okay? And we represent them. We are very protective over them, and I think that's beautiful. I think that's exactly, they're doing their lives here are doing exactly what they were meant to, okay? And how they were murdered and robbed, and how it robbed us and everything. Well, it robbed the world, okay? But you can never extinguish that light, and that's what carries on. And it's through the grace of God. It's only through the grace of God. It's all that's the only way. And for He's provided this support system. He has provided things through people, through humanity, right? And I love you guys so much. I really do. I'm just kind of getting tongue-tied. Da-da-da.
Ashley says they have, in a way, been part of all of us. And Jay Blake says they sent a message to the world of love for sure.
There you go. That's it. And so that's how love always wins. You know, you've got your people who just don't understand the concept of that. And I've seen the comments, you know, a long time ago, not lately, but it's just those negative Nellies who are just like, well, it obviously love didn't win, you know? And I'm like, well, obviously, yeah. Okay. Go over there and be a little pessimist, you know, or take that and represent them and show that and share that with the world. And then it's kind of like paying it forward. And so if you do it with love and respect and how you're supposed to treat your neighbor, then it can only result in good things, you know? I mean, has anybody died from like just the actual act of loving?
Agnes Lamb says 3 words: we love you.
Oh, thank you, Agnes. Thank y'all. You guys are awesome. Y'all help me just not lose all hope in humanity. I'm serious, because just researching these cases and these people, and I mean, it's dark. It's dark, but I feel like I'm protected in a lot of ways. I have one-track mind, okay? And I'm just like, where is it at? No, I'm gonna find the justice through understanding. That's how their stories get told. And it's not anything you can click on. It's not anything you can hear audibly. It's not anything you can see. It's not tangible. But it's like these answers that just get answered with your own research, your own understanding of the situation and the things around the situation of their tragic deaths. And I don't think those, oh my God, I'm not making sense. I don't think that we get those answers. You know, they're philosophical. They're not set in stone. They're not like, yeah, that's it. Even if we got the answers and had all the answers and knew every detail, it wouldn't bring them back, you know? But just learning through this process and trying to understand it so that, you know, I mean, my part in this is to bring them justice, have their stories be told through the answers that we find. And then you take that and to not make it in vain, you take that and you share it with the world, and you inform people who are unaware. And then you educate, and it's not a misinformation, it's information. And then they take that, and knowledge is power. And if people are aware of the dangers and the things that let Tylee and JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe down, then we can address them and just try to implement changes. And I don't know where this goes. It's just, there's so many things that failed them. And there's sometimes, you know, and I'm speaking as a believer right now, where you're just like, there are so many things that failed them. It's like, it was part of the bigger plan. I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine that has to be it. That they serve their purpose in this life. I don't know.
Well, there are a lot of answers in the comments. Let me just say a few of these, if you don't mind. Aguilar says love does win. K-Tech says love always wins. That gives me hope. And Wildlight Art says, I am so grateful. Grateful. So grateful for your wisdom and integrity and how you put love first, Kresha. You are a beautiful guiding light, shining awareness. So those, sometimes when we don't have the answers to these criminal case questions and things that we're doing, I believe this community, it's not about just out of curiosity. I believe there are people in this live stream that really have a heart, a
Mhm.
deep, abiding love that they want to share. And sometimes when we don't have the answers to these criminal cases, the answers of other truth comes out.
That's it. That's it. That is exactly it. Right? And so we're all just truth seekers anyways. We're all in life. Everybody on this planet living right now is living life. And their version of it, what they understand. And so what we don't know, how can we know about it? And it's like we just kind of we're curious and we want to know things and how things work and why things happened and things like that. And they are philosophical and they aren't always things you can touch or see. They're not a timeline. They are not the facts. They are just all the things, meaning behind it, what it stands for, what it represents. I I think that gives it context, if you will.
So, Krisha, what is Larry and Kay doing, or can you share that? Or, I mean, do you know how they're feeling, how they're doing right now?
They're okay. Um, they will make a public statement whenever they have how do I say this? When they have uh I guess their next move set in concrete. I don't know what else to say. Y'all know I struggle for words. It's not that I don't want to share, it's just I don't know how to word it.
Well, you've always been a protector of your family, and we totally understand. And I would never ask
Yeah.
you to
No,
be,
I know. And I
but
mean, I appreciate that.
I have to be a little selfish here to ask you, how did your interview with the Sun go?
Good. It went way better than the first one. It was just over the phone, and um, I like Luke. He is so out of all the reporters and everything, you're just a piece of meat. Okay. You are a click. Um, or that's what it feels like, and I don't like that. It's not personable, but with him, he's just so patient and thoughtful and respectful. He first and foremost, he is respectful. And so I really do appreciate that about him. And he really does ask really interesting questions. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I didn't think about that.
You know what I've been praying for?
What?
I've been praying that one high damn dollar journalist, one of these big national journalists, decide to home in on all the things that you really, really want to say.
Or that I've been saying for years, and they're just
Right.
now it takes, all these abuse cases and uh uh this civil lawsuit against Tim Ballard and the whole Sound of Freedom movie to come out and all these big things to happen, and I've been pointing at it the whole time. Just at the beginning I didn't have the words. And then people had already chalked me off a long time ago because they're like, "Oh, Lord, there's that family member right there." And I'm just unfiltered in that sense. I say it's weird. It's a weird experience. I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to, nothing to guide me. Okay. So I'm just kind of doing this and have been doing this half, with a blindfold on. And
I
I'm just
think,
like, have my feelers out.
I think you've been guided a little more than you realize. I don't think that you're just out here in space. I believe that you've got a good head on your shoulders, and I think that you've got a heart inside spiritually.
Yeah,
And this is just my belief. I just
I
believe
believe that too.
that you're going to adjust, and you're going to be able to get things in focus even more. And at some point, Crescia, I don't see you ever giving up. So I think at one point, we're all going to look back on these times that we were, I guess, growing, these growing pains and things
Hmm.
we've been doing. And we're going to say, Crescia, I mean, even today, I can say you've come so far.
Oh, that's the best compliment ever. Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting one queued up, but that's the best compliment really, you know? And I've heard a lot of people say that they've learned and you know, more about Tylee, JJ, Charles, and even Tammy and Joe. They've learned more about them through the things that I say and share, and that is the biggest compliment, you know, because I just want, that's why we're here anyways.
Beach Bum, I believe that if a tribute or memorial service or something for JJ happens, there's no doubt that Cresha is going to give it all she can on
Oh
that.
yeah, that's
I
my
believe she's going to make sure that all of y'all are included, because
Mhm.
it's because of y'all's support and all
Mhm.
the love you've given, your time, your efforts, your just all those days that Cresha was having a bad day, or terrible news came in or whatever, y'all were there. Y'all are so very
So loving. So loving. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay. It sounded like you went away. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'd just be talking to myself, right? If I open this channel and come on here and then y'all aren't here, then what's the point? If nobody's gonna to interact with you and share, you know, all your point of views, and there's so many perspectives. You guys bring up the best point of view, the best perspectives, the best questions. There's no way. They say it takes an army, I mean, a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to go through this also, you know. Hey, y'all are village people. You know, gotta be silly.
Annie probably tuned in tonight hoping for even more news on specificity on things, but today is a day to celebrate,
Yeah,
y'all.
it
And
is a win, if you will, you know.
it's been a double whammy too.
A
Melanie
1-2 punch.
Pawlowski has a court hearing on the 19th, y'all.
Tammy's
Let
that's
Cresha get in with y'all on that. I want to listen to what she's got to say about it all, and I'm gonna sign off with all of y'all. But Cresha, I love you, honey.
I love you
Love
too. Thank
Jason and
you.
Wayne and I. You know we're here for y'all if y'all need anything. And I'm gonna just listen in and leave the stream now. But you're the best of the best, and don't you ever think that you are not doing what's best for the memory of JJ and Tylee and the rest. You
Oh,
have
that's so
been
sweet.
an inspiration to so many.
Oh,
Wow, Cresha.
thank you. I love you.
Hey, Cresha.
Keep on looking.
Keep on looking.
Oh, yeah. She's one of kind. I love her, right? Ah, you guys are awesome. I had just seen a comment and it was from Eric. Okay. Where'd he go? Okay. Eric Jasper says, I think that state should donate a stadium. God knows the love for them and your family itself would fill it up. But that would be nice of them if they did that, did for a service. Yeah, it would be. Just definitely not any of the conference centers. I like how you said a stadium instead. Yes, yes. Oh, that's awesome. It's like you can feel it. It's worldwide. Um, Tylee and JJ's stories, their faces, you know, flooded the news media stations, and then I mean, just it grew so fast, and so I don't remember it. It's a blur, and because you're just like I was in such of a panic and what the hell, you know? It's like I could never just back away from the situation long enough to reflect on it, to see what the hell's going on. It was happening so fast, and it's just ah, no family should ever have to deal with this, but unfortunately, it has happened since, you know, the beginning of time, and I'm just glad that society and, you know, technology is a blessing and a curse, and this is just one of those blessings. It's being able to connect with so many people from around the world and get your take on it and how you feel, and to share them. It has allowed for them to live on spiritually, and I think the day, I've said this before, the day that we stop speaking their names is the day that I think they truly die. Other than that, as long as we are saying their names and doing it with respect and grace to them, then I think we're honoring the dead, right? That's beautiful. I'll never understand it all. I don't think we're meant to, but that's my understanding as of today. Oh, I keep having to clear my damn throat. So let me go. I'm going to go grab, oh, Jay Blake. Thank you again, KJ. The Rays love you, she says. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Oh, hey, Harley62. Grammy B. Oh my God, I'm about to rip my throat out. Then I would be unable to talk. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to take it down though, because I'm about to hide myself behind the thing and I won't be able to come back. Oh, Donna. Okay. Got it. All right. Share screen and okay. And so earlier I had seen where Justin Lum had posted about JJ. Actually, that's not where I saw it, but we'll go to the story and we'll talk about this one first, actually. Let me. Okay. Okay, God, I need to fix the settings on that thing. It's always like 200% in my face. Okay, it says Lori Vallow judge orders release of Doomsday Mom murder victim's body to next of kin. Okay, so we're gonna press this. It'll probably be an ad. Maybe it won't play at all. I don't know. Guess not. Okay, a judge in Idaho issued a ruling on the body of a 7-year-old child whose adoptive mother has been convicted in connection with his murder. According to court documents obtained by Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum, Judge Stephen Boyce has ordered that the remains of Joshua J.J. Vallow may be released to his next of kin. The order was dated October 16th, which was today, but did not state who is JJ's next of kin. Y'all don't worry. Okay, JJ's remains, along with those of his sister Tylee Ryan, were discovered on an Idaho property in June of 2020. Legal arrangements have reportedly not been made in regard to the remains that belong to Tylee, which is unfortunate, right? But everything happens for a reason, and we always manage to figure it out, right? And do right by them. Okay, it says at the time JJ and Tylee's remains were discovered, the property belonged to Chad Daybell, who got married to Lori Vallow weeks after JJ and Tylee were last seen. On May 15, 2023, almost 3 years after JJ and Tylee's remains were found, Lori Vallow was found guilty times 6, right? Of killing the two, and was subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, Vallow's lawyers have filed a notice of appeal. Chad Daybell is awaiting trial on the same murder charges as Vallow. Vallow's convictions and subsequent sentencing in Idaho were the culmination of a 3-year investigation that uncovered bizarre claims by Vallow that her son and daughter were zombies. And they're still being purported today, y'all. Okay? I mean, not so much zombies, but it's the same concept. You see it in Jody and Ruby and Tim Ballard's case, all these things. I knew it was bigger. I wish. Truth. It always comes to light, right? Okay. Okay, zombies. And that she was a goddess sent to usher in the biblical apocalypse. Second coming, The case has captured national and international media attention. And here's this. The Judge Stephen Boyce orders that the body of J.J. Vallow be released to his next of kin. J.J.'s grandparents have been waiting for a long time, since 6/9/20, to have a funeral for the 7-year-old murdered by his adoptive mother, Lori Vallow. So here's the order. Right. And again, and this is a stipulation. It was signed by Judge Boyce. Oh, that's John Pryor. Yes, I guess allowing us, gracing us with his signature there, and relinquishing, his, for them to hold the kids' bodies, or JJ's body. God, it's hard to talk about. So that happened today, and then here's the rest of the order. It is hereby ordered that the body of JJ Vallow may be released to his next of kin, and signed in a nice blue marker felt tip pen. Okay, so let me go back. Did it even show y'all that? Did I open it on the right screen? I don't even know if I did. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to... Okay. I'm dumb right now for some reason. All right, and this is the niece of Doomsday Mom, Lori Vallow, to appear in Mesa Court for computer tampering charge. And y'all, the video hadn't gotten that much traction, because I had done it just with Patreon members only. And then I released it to the public, after a good while after I had gone over the whole 74-page report. I read it page, line by line. I read it, and I regretted it, as I got further and further into it. It was like 3 hours it took me to read the damn thing. And so, I do have that video. I'll try and grab the link before we go. And if you want to watch it, and kind of refresh yourself on the case. If I need to find a way, also, I'll make it available to share the 74-page Mesa report on that tampering charge. I'll probably put that up in Patreon, actually. So, okay, Mesa, Arizona. Melanie Pawlowski, the niece of Lori Vallow, the so-called Doomsday Mom, accused of killing her 2 children, is set to have a date in court in connection with charges that were filed against her. According to the city court website for Mesa, Melanie Lee Pawlowski is set to appear in court on the afternoon of October 19th, alleged computer tampering. I think the computer, this is my honest, I don't know, I'm shooting from the hip right now. And I think that this will implicate her, because this computer, I would say, well, no, I'll have to go and refresh myself on the damn report also. Because I don't know if this would tie her to the bigger conspiracy, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Void what I just said. Strike it. I got to find out first. Pawlowski is accused of computer tampering by Mesa police. The charge was initially dismissed in 2022, but an amended charge was later filed. The victim in this case is her ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux. Boudreaux was shot at in Gilbert, Arizona in October 2019, and according to investigators, Boudreaux believed Pawlowski provided the shooter with his new address. Okay, that's it. That's like a fact, I guess you could say, according to this report. So according to investigators, Boudreaux believed... Oh, Boudreaux. Okay, my bad. I'm reading too much into it. The Gilbert Police Department... Oh, I'm sorry. And according to investigators, Boudreaux believed Pawlowski provided the shooter with his new address. The Gilbert Police Department shooting investigation identified the suspect as the late Alex Cox, Pawlowski's uncle and the brother of Lori Vallow. The shooting is part of a chain of events linked to the case of Vallow's 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow, who went missing in Idaho after she moved them from Chandler to Rexburg, Idaho, in the fall of 2019. Chad Daybell is at the center of a complex case involving the death of his first wife, as well as the deaths of his new wife's 2 children, in a case that has garnered national and global media attention. In 2021, Gilbert police recommended attempted murder charges for Daybell and his new wife, Lori Vallow, in connection with the attempted murder of Vallow's niece's ex-husband. Good God. Authorities found the siblings dead 9 months later in the backyard of Chad Daybell, Vallow's fifth husband. Prosecutors say the two justify the killings, including the murder of Daybell's first wife, Tammy, by relying on extreme religious beliefs. Okay. That are still coming out the wazoo right now in Tim Ballard and Jody and Ruby's case. Okay. I don't know how many we're going to let pile up before people are like, oh yeah, okay, it's connected. That's been my whole fight, as these things have emerged, and I'm like, oh my God, that's connected. I didn't know anything about Ruby and Jody. They were not on my radar. I didn't know who they were. But that coming out and learning the details in that child abuse case, I mean, that has so many connections. It's like my brain, it's just like, oh my God, this, that, they are the same, right? And then the lawsuit and everything, the news about Tim Ballard came out, and I'm like, oh my God, you can't make this stuff up. There's so many things that connect one another, and they were never separate in my mind. So I always looked at Lori and Chad's case as, okay, I'm going to talk about all the things that affect or, influenced Chad and Lori Daybell to do what they did. Okay. It's all about how all the things that were around them and enabled them and, helped sharpen their what would they just say right here? Their extreme religious beliefs. Okay. So they're not just Lori and Chad's. Okay. There are many, and that's scary. Now, do you see why I'm like, oh my God, what about the rest of them? Okay. Because they're pumping them out 2 by 2, like the Noah's Ark, except reverse. And there's the thinking is backwards, as you can really see, in my opinion. Jody and Ruby's case is backwards. It's backwards thinking. It's more defined. I can see it. It's more pronounced. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so distorted. It's distorted. And it helps, though, to look into that case, to learn the details of it. First off, because you're informing yourself. There's nothing wrong with being informed. And actually, I'm a quote Grant Palmer. He's he died a while back, but he was a true believing Mormon for many years. He was born, and raised Mormon, and then he had a faith crisis and grew out of it. And he said that an informed Mormon was soon to be an ex-Mormon. And I was like, oh wow, that's pretty profound. Another thing that Grant Palmer said, that, I don't know, it just kind of caught me. And he said that the best thing you can show to a Mormon, a true believing Mormon, is grace, because they don't know what it is. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, that makes sense. And they talk about grace, but they don't know how to show it because it's different, they differ from mainstream Christianity. And you can see these things, you can see all these, whatever you call them, hints or nuances of it right now in these cases. You can see, oh, okay, there's your splinter group. It's not a splinter group. These are mainstream, and that's scary. Anyways, in November 2021, Gilbert police recommended attempted murder charges to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office to be filed against Vallow and Daybell, who were believed to orchestrate the shooting. Prosecutors chose not to charge Daybell and Vallow's. And Vallow's case is still being reviewed. Charges for Pawlowski were not submitted to MCAO, and I'm going to put yet. Okay, I'm an optimist. Vallow is also charged with conspiring to kill her fourth husband, my uncle, Charles Vallow, who was fatally shot by Alex Cox in Chandler back in July of 2019. On May 15th, 2023, almost 3 years after JJ and Tylee's remains were found, Lori Vallow was found guilty of killing the two and was subsequently sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, VALLOW'S lawyers have filed notice of appeal. Pawlowski, identity theft investigation. New details in Mesa PD's identity theft investigation of Pawlowski alleged she used a copy of a $12,000 check deposited into Boudreaux's business bank account to present as an exhibit during a family custody hearing. Y'all remember those? They were by phone or whatever, and I remember sitting on the phone and just being like, what? But oh man. And I go back from time to time and I read those initial documents and I'm just like, oh my God, knowing what you know now, looking back at those documents and that came out in their divorce, custody battle and everything, it's very telling. We'll have to revisit that, because just to go over them and just kind of looking with what we know now and revisiting those things, I find it very helpful. According to Mesa's police report, Pawlowski agreed to take herself off of the bank account for Boudreaux's business, known as Cougar Consulting. Wow, right? Bank records show that Pawlowski accessed the Chase bank account several months after signing the divorce decree. Investigators say, I think this would show like intent, that's what I gather. Investigators say Pawlowski was supposed to remove herself from the account no more than 60 days after the sale of the former couple's property on October 3rd, 2019. The account was accessed sometime after March 2nd, 2020. Relative of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow fears for his life. So they go back to that story where Brandon, early in mid-December, anyways, I'll read it. Brandon Boudreaux claims the mother of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow heavily influenced his ex-wife through a religious group, so much so that she left Arizona for Idaho after an attempt on his life failed. And that was from a January 2020 report. The investigation started in November of 2021, and a detective with Mesa PD interviewed Pawlowski's attorney, Garrett Smith. Interesting. According to the report, Smith admitted Pawlowski was indeed removed. Well, there you go. Open and shut. Removed from the bank account. Oh, never mind. When she logged into the online account, only because the login information had not changed. Whatever. I mean, there's only so many damn excuses these people can try and use. You can't just be a victim, party of one. I need a victim's advocate, please, party of one. Garrett, and this is quote, quote, Garrett told me, it is not Melanie's fault that Brandon was dumb and did not change the login information until 3 days after Melanie accessed the online account. So this is victim blaming 101, and you can rip it straight out of the Doctrine and Covenants in the Mormon. Okay? Because it's not, they're never accountable for their own shit. And so what they do is they put it off on everybody else. It's Brandon's fault. That asshole Garrett right there says it's Brandon's fault and he's dumb. And so Melanie wouldn't have accessed the banking information if Brandon would have changed the password. This is the kind of thinking that we're dealing with, okay? This is not just Garrett. This is not just Melanie. This is not just Chad and Lori's case. This is also in Ruby and I think I've made my argument in Jody's case and Tim Ballard. I know y'all can see it because you can't go through those cases without people saying, oh my God, this sounds like Lori and Chad. Okay. Can't. And if you are, then you are in denial. I feel for you because it's okay. It's okay to have, to criticize things. Constructive criticism is healthy. Okay. It doesn't mean you're bad or something's wrong. It just means you're not exalted. You're not perfect. You're not a God. Okay. Well, come back down. Come back down to reality and be humble. Smith told police that Pawlowski, I'm sorry, wait, did I read this part? Okay. Smith told police that Pawlowski believed Boudreaux owed her money from the check, and that is why she logged into the account to get a copy to her attorney. Why didn't she just ask? Just whatever. Anyways, Gilbert town attorney, family members of Melanie Pawlowski connected to criminal investigations. And so this goes, and this is from May of 2020. It says the investigation concluded with the detective finding probable cause to charge Pawlowski with 1 count of computer tampering, which is a class 3 felony. Quote, Melanie Pawlowski knowingly accessed Brandon Boudreaux's Chase Bank business account for Cougar Consulting, unquote. That's pretty direct, reported the detective. The charge against Pawlowski has been dismissed, according to the court, on September 26th. And then it goes into the intense call, details arrest of Lori Vallow's niece amidst trespassing accusations. So I'm gonna double click this. We're gonna listen. Sorry, I keep messing up my words. Come on. I don't know why it keeps making me open up in another window. Okay. Ooh. I think that's just live. Oh, yeah. I'm not blonde, but damn. You'd think I am. Okay. Melanie Pawlowski, the niece of Lori Vallow, the so-called doomsday mom accused of killing her 2 children, is set to have a date in court in connection with charges that were filed against her. I think I read all this. This just brought me to the story. Okay, let's listen to this one.
Connect with Flex, one-stop shop for CTV.
Oh, hush. I hate ads, y'all. I hate ads. I understand how it works, but oh my gosh, I hate ads. Okay.
An update now on the complex case of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, husband, wife, and co-defendants facing murder charges linked to the deaths of Vallow's 2 children and Daybell's first wife in the state of Idaho.
This saga began in the East Valley. Gilbert police recommended murder charges for the couple last November for killing their children. And now we have an answer on whether Daybell will actually face those charges. Fox 10's investigative reporter Justin Lum has the latest.
MCAO has declined to prosecute Chad Daybell in the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux. Boudreaux is the ex-husband of Lori Vallow's niece. The reason? Prosecutors say there's no reasonable likelihood of a conviction. That leaves the same recommended charge for Vallow, which is still under review.
I heard the bang, and immediately I just pushed the gas and went forward because I was like, I'm getting shot at.
October 2nd, 2019, Brandon Boudreaux tells a Gilbert police officer he saw someone open fire at him from the back of a Jeep as he pulled into his driveway. Boudreaux says the bullet shattered the window of his Tesla. More than 2 years later, investigators identified the shooter as the late Alex Cox, brother of Lori Vallow. The police report says Cox, Vallow, and Chad Daybell prepared to murder Boudreaux by tinting the windows of the Jeep Wrangler, removing the back seat and the back wheel, placing them in a rented storage unit in Rexburg, Idaho. Investigators believe Vallow and Daybell's unorthodox spiritual beliefs led to Boudreaux being identified as a dark soul. At the time, Daybell was a fictional doomsday author in Idaho who Vallow followed from Chandler shortly after her 4th husband, Charles, was shot to death by Alex Cox. Cox died in December 2019 of natural causes. Since then, Vallow has been indicted in the death of Charles, accused of conspiring with her brother in the fatal shooting. Boudreaux, the ex-husband of Lori Vallow's niece, was close to being shot just months later.
They were surprised, I think, as much as I was.
Okay.
They probably thought they were going to hit me. I mean, it was...
Okay. So you know what we're doing. I'm going to get a bunch of cops here. We're going to walk down the street just to see if we see any shell casings or anything like that.
Meantime, in Idaho, Chad Daybell's murder trial is scheduled for January 2023. Vallow is supposed to stand trial along with him, but as of now, she's deemed not competent to proceed with the charges against her, although the extension for her mental health commitment is set to end by next week. I'm investigative reporter Justin Lum.
Spoiler alert. She became competent. Okay, so mom just sent me a press release, okay? All right, so I'm going to share it. It says, And this is from Mom and Larry. It says the last several years have been filled with pain and grief as we traveled this long, arduous road. We have waited and prayed for this day for so long and are immeasurably relieved that JJ will finally be laid to rest. We have spent the past days immersed in the memories of the love and happiness that JJ shined and continues to shine on our life. As we reminisce in the joy that JJ filled our life with, our hearts ache for those that love JJ and share in the immense grief and loss of such a beautiful little man. Well, okay. We are grateful for the love and support of everyone that has come to love JJ, Tylee, and Charles. As we continue to fight for justice, the dedication and strength given has helped to carry us through. We are anxious to find out when Tylee too can be laid to rest. Our greatest wish is for JJ and Tylee to be celebrated for the joy and love they brought to this world and for them to finally rest in peace. Only then will our hearts begin to heal. Memorial services will be announced at a later date. Larry and Kay Woodcock. So that is the public press release, and you heard it here. Okay. Wow, that was good. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm maneuvering it throughout my little apps on my phone. And throwing that into Canva, and then I'll make a, put it on something aesthetically, prettier so that we can share that. Okay. Why does this not go back? Okay. All right. So there's that one. And then this one should go back. Okay. There it went. My bad. I'm having computer problems. I don't know. Uh-oh. I hope it's not locking up on me. Hold on just a second. Okay. All right. And then let me go back down. Okay. So that's the Chad Daybell one. Oh, we already read the story. So we're going to go hit this one real quick. If they wouldn't try to have so many damn ads on their page, the page might load up fast.
Continuing coverage tonight, a relative of two missing kids with ties to Arizona says he fears for his life. He claims the mother of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow heavily influenced his ex-wife through some sort of religious group.
Right, so much so that she left Arizona for Idaho back in the summer, just like Lori Vallow, after an attempt on this man's life failed. Fox 10's Justin Lum has uncovered some court documents and joins us with a little more on this tonight.
Brandon Boudreau wants Lori Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell, to tell authorities where the missing kids are. He believes the couple leads a religious group more radical than people know. He tells me his ex-wife left her 4 kids with him to join this group.
Sure did.
I had the perfect life, man. I built a beautiful home across the street from the temple.
That's the first problem.
Family.
Now Brandon Boudreau fears for his life. His number one priority, his 4 young kids. Brandon says their mother, Melanie, demanded a divorce last summer as her behavior became erratic. Brandon filed these court documents last October. He wanted sole custody of his kids. He made another jarring statement saying the 4th husband of Melanie's aunt was shot and killed within the last couple of months. He believed Melanie regularly spent her time at her Aunt Lori's home. We now know the 4th husband to be Charles Vallow, who filed to divorce Lori in February 2019. He claimed Lori said she was a god preparing for the second coming of Christ and would murder him if she got in the way of his mission. Chandler police say her brother, Alex Cox, shot Charles in self-defense last July. Fast forward to October 2nd, Brandon says a bullet missed his head by inches as he pulled into his driveway in
Chad
Gilbert.
said something about
All I
that
could
too.
think was, someone's shooting at me. What do I need to do? I need to hit the gas and get out of here.
Police say the shooter drove off. A closer look shows the Tesla's broken window and a bullet hole. Detectives are still investigating the case. Then less than 2 weeks later, Brandon says he got this text from Melanie saying she planned to move to Boise, Idaho, and the kids could stay with him in Arizona or go with her. Brandon believes Melanie did all this to join the religious group of Doomsday Preppers, led by Chad Daybell, Lori's new husband.
I think it's an infatuation with the end of the world and
Yeah.
an infatuation with power. And they are using it to try to make money off of people's beliefs.
In late November, marriage records in Clark County, Nevada show Melanie remarried. Court documents also say Brandon Boudreau has been told by investigators not to reveal the names of the possible shooting suspect or suspects, but he does believe the attempt on his life, the disappearance of JJ and Tylee, as well as Charles Vallow's death are all connected. Live in the studio, Justin Lum, Fox 10 News.
All right, Justin, thank you very much for that report.
Okay, and then there's this one. Gilbert Town attorney, family members of Melanie Pawlowski connected to criminal investigations. This was from May 2020.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your news is?
Oh my God!
It's right here on Fox 10.
You under surveillance?
Fox 10 News.
I thought I muted it.
The Valley's best 10 o'clock
Uh-oh.
news.
Fox follow-up tonight, an
New
update to the
details
story down in
connected to
Tucson, where
two-
mountain lions were killed by authorities
hell is
because
that
they were
thing?
feasting on human remains.
Pima County authorities
What the
saying
hell?
that a person of interest in connection
Oh my
with
gosh.
those human remains
Hold
is
on.
in custody tonight. 21-year-old Dalen Jacob Thornton was arrested.
Okay, let me just stop. Okay, I don't know what was playing in the background there. I'm sorry about that. That was weird. So, yeah. We have a rogue, whatever. Let's see. So now I'm going to go to, let's see. Again, I don't know why it's doing this. Everything's so damn difficult. This is difficult research, y'all, and this is just another day in the life of mine. Another day in my life. I expect it. I embrace it. Okay, I guess that's the end. All right. So what I'm going to do is... Okay, here it is. Okay, share this one instead. This is East Idaho News. Okay, I could have swore he did. Oh, okay, hello. Y'all, I'm not used to navigating on my computer desktop. Okay.
Hey everybody, Nate Eaton here in the East Idaho News newsroom. A little bit of news this morning on the JJ and Tylee, the remains of those two children who were found buried on Chad Daybell's property. A judge has signed an order releasing JJ VALLOW'S remains to his family. This actually came after a stipulation was filed late last week, by the Fremont County prosecutor Lindsay Blake and the Madison County prosecutor Rob Wood. It was also signed by Chad Daybell's attorney John Pryor, and it simply says the state of Idaho, by and through the Fremont County prosecuting attorney and the defendant Chad Daybell, through his attorney of record John Pryor, and we hereby stipulate that the body of JJ Vallow may be released to his next of kin. And then Judge Stephen Boyce signed that this morning on Monday. So what does that mean? It means that over 4 years since JJ died, his family will finally be able to have his remains back. And I'm not sure I think that the procedure as far as who's going to come and pick up his body, what they're going to do from here, that's still being worked out. But they will finally get to lay him to rest. Meaning Chad Daybell's defense team and the prosecution no longer need it for the purposes of the trial coming up in April. Tylee's remains, that's a different story. There has been no stipulation filed as far as her remains being released. So those are still in the custody of the state. One could assume that additional testing will need to be done, maybe by the defense, or they might file a stipulation, in a few months. So there has been a lot of, frustration, I guess you could say, about why these children have not been released. Of course, DNA testing was done. There was other sorts of testing that was done, and they held on to those bodies during Lori Vallow Daybell's trial earlier this year, but it appears that they will not need those for Chad Daybell's trial. So that is the news as of today as far as the remains of JJ Vallow. Again, the circumstances are still being worked out. Some of the family members have said in the past that they want to hold memorial services for these children here in Idaho, also in Arizona, and also in Louisiana, where JJ's grandparents live. So no details to announce on that yet, but that could be forthcoming as a way for the public to come and pay their respects. What's up next in the case? Well, there should be a few more motions filed. The prosecution has said they plan to file some motions coming up here in the future. And then the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, I believe it's the 29th of November, the hearing about courtroom cameras in the courtroom during the trial will be heard in Fremont County. That will be an in-person hearing. We have filed a request to have our cameras in for that hearing so you all can watch. The judge has not responded to that request yet, but that's the next official hearing that's on the calendar. Of course, something could come up between now and then, but we'll stay on top of that. For all the latest news, go to eastidahonews.com. On the case, you can get all caught up. For now, I'm Nate Eaton reporting.
Thanks, Nate. Okay. Yeah. You know what just came registered to me was, okay, so John Pryor basically on or under the guise of pretending to need DNA evidence further testing, used JJ's body as hostage, as leverage, as another bargaining chip, if you will, another pawn, knowing that he in fact did not need it for additional testing. So wow, okay. See, I don't process things right away. That's pretty shitty, right? Hey, electronic medium. How's it going? Good to see you. Always good to see you. Y'all go check her channel out. It's interesting, especially the one she did about Tylee and JJ. Woo! I'm a believer. I believe they find ways to deliver messages for sure. Oh, I'm glad, Leanne Forsberg. I'm glad. Maybe Chad is preparing a plea deal. Oh, one can only hope and pray, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's a control freak, big time. And he doesn't move. That's what I did tell that reporter earlier. I was like, he asked me about how, different it is to have Lori's trial behind and then looking forward to Chad's trial. And I was like, I'm not emotionally attached to Chad. So that's a big difference. I don't feel any type of way. Okay. About him. I don't like him. He's a piece of shit. But I'm like, basically he's a rock, it's like watching a rock, except I'm more amused by a rock because, they're shiny and they have different characteristics, and Chad just don't have that. So I told him, I was like, I'll just, take a stick and poke it. I just poke the rock. That's about all. What? I mean, he sucks. There's no personality in there. It's void. It's missing. I don't know what the hell Lori saw. And either one of them, they're ugly as hell, but especially on the inside. Beach Bum says, if he's a smart chin in a shirt and tie, he will plead, but smart he's not. Right? He's the zombie he talked about. That's that projection, right? We've been talking about that for a long ass time. And it will be nice to put that in the rearview mirror and then focus on Arizona. I mean, that's really all you can do. I do believe. It reminds me of a frog. It's not easy being green or Chad. I feel bad because whenever I really share how I feel about Chad, it's like it is nothing to reflect on Tammy. Okay, she's a beautiful soul. It just it really sucks. For her, really, because she was way bigger and way better and way more. She was beautiful, and Chad, he didn't possess that, and he, I guess, didn't know any other way to obtain that. You can't purchase it. It's not anything that you can, just buy or just say, okay, I want to be a good person, or I want to be smart. I want to be an athlete. He wanted to be an athlete. He talked about athletic shorts way too much. And he loves sports and sports statistics and everything. And he never was that. He never was going to measure up. So they have those people like that. They have to like steal it. Okay. Because they don't know how to, it's just by being a good person. It's just, authentic and real, and doing the work. So I do believe that doctrine or whatever that came out in the zombie Reddit email, or was it with Ian? It was with Ian Pawlowski, the documents that he released, where they said, if you can imagine it, then it's real. So Chad imagined that he had the beautiful light of Tylee and JJ and Charles and Tammy, and he wanted to possess that, and he didn't know how. And here we are. So it sucks. It's tragic all the way around. And, I just think that it's scary because it's much those kind of beliefs, that kind of thought process, it is alive and well in Zion, if you know what I'm saying. It is alive and well. We see the ugly faces of it a lot lately, especially in the media with Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie and Mr. Timothy Ballard, right? So what was this? I was going to show y'all something real quick, and then we'll end and not make this a 40-hour live. Hey, Nancy, how do you feel about this? And will you attend any of the services? I'd love to see you. I believe you have just as much right to be there as anybody else. You're JJ's aunt also. God, that's it just makes me think about Mandy. It makes me think about Todd. It just all those different dynamics, breaks my heart. Okay, what was I going to look for? Oh, yeah, this. So this is happening, okay? This is happening. This is Mormon Stories podcast, right? And this is going to be live in 17 hours. When I talked to Lauren the other night via text, she had said that they were doing something like this. So I was kind of expecting it. And so this is the description under this upcoming live stream on Mormon Stories podcast. Scheduled for October 17th. Okay. So it says, today we will discuss someone described as, quote, the spiritual leader of alleged murders, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, alleged abuser Tim Ballard, and recently imprisoned Jody Hildebrandt. Tom Harrison is a prominent Utah therapist who published a book called Visions of Glory in 2012, focusing on 3 of his alleged, I like how they put that, near-death experiences, including personal visitations from Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Sounds familiar. As has been uncovered over the past few years, Tom Harrison and his book Visions of Glory have been highly influential across the Mormon prepper neo-fundamentalist community, and particularly in the lives and stories of Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow, Tim Ballard, and Jody Hildebrandt, as well as other preppers such as Julie Rowe, Rod Meldrum, and alleged abuser therapist Maurice Harker. Part of what has made Visions of Glory so successful is that Tom, this is interesting, y'all, and I didn't know this. So, is that through, I'm sorry, I lost my spot. Is that Tom, through the pseudonym Spencer, I knew that. Okay, it's the next one, claims in his book that his visions were approved of by an unnamed Mormon apostle. And in parentheses, it says, who now is known to be the late Neil A. Maxwell. This is a late Mormon prophet, okay? And so he's not here anymore, right? He died. And this all goes into that whole thing that I believe is really just roles that they played into these rituals, these ceremonies, if you will. And so Melanie Gibb was not really Phoebe. That was not a past life. That is not a document that came from Chad. It came from Chad, but he got it from somewhere. You know that there's no original idea or thought. Okay. So whomever Neil A. Maxwell, I know I've seen that in documents before, on the past life, whatever. I think it's called a rubric on Fox 10 Phoenix with Justin Lum, you know, back when those documents came out. And JJ's past life was Jonathan Edwards, and Lori was Elena, Chad was James. And you know how there's a text between Chad and Lori, and he's saying, yeah, it worked for my neighbor and for Stan Lee and George Bush and just all these code names, right? Well, those are roles. In my theory, it brings me back to this every single time. That's why this is the Gadianton robbers, if you will. This is exactly, this verbatim is the secret society that damn church uses to fearmonger its members into enslaving them. Okay. So they are the secret society, and they're practicing some dark shit. Obviously, there's 2 murdered children at the and you know, there's murdered adults but children, they're innocent on the receiving end of this. And so anybody who wants to think and just continue to live with this, we're not doing any justice to the victims if we continue to silence that still small voice or that intuition, that gut feeling that, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory and those things don't exist. They don't believe in that anymore. That's been disavowed, yada, yada, yada. Blood atonement is real, especially in this faith, particularly. And anytime that I really do think that when you turn and you, because it's uncomfortable and it's weird and whatever, it didn't make it any less deadly. If anything, it makes it less prosecuted. Okay, because it becomes a stigma, and then we get labeled as conspiracy theorists. Well, the reality is Tylee and JJ are dead. They're murdered, no longer to ever live, breathe, or talk again. Okay, that was robbed from them, from these assholes. And it's not just Chad and Lori, and it never has been. And it's not just Chad, Lori, and Melanie Gibb and David Warwick and just all the people that we know of. There are more people. And I don't care. Call me what you will. But the reality in my life, in my perspective, is that this is real. This is reality. And there are many others that throughout time have gotten away with being investigated or implicated or found out because people are like, oh yeah, that is crazy. That is just so bizarre. And I mean, you have to be crazy to think about that shit. And so screw them. Okay. That's where I'm at. it pisses me off because it disrespects the dead. It disrespects those kids. It disrespects every one of the victims, Charles, Tylee, Tammy, JJ, and Joe, because they were sacrificed. That is the end of the story. That is, that is why we're here. Okay. And I really do believe that Jody was allegedly preparing R and E the two Frankie children for harvesting, if you will. That's a good, yeah, harvesting. That's a good word. General conference was right around the corner. Yeah. Okay. So somebody's in game higher up in the hierarchy. Somebody, it's above money, power, and sex. It's like all of them combined. It's beyond that. It's like a bloodthirst, or what do they call it? Bloodletting, blood libel. And they don't just want, your insurance money or life insurance money or control or power over you. They want to desecrate your body and just torture you. And that is sick. That is some sick shit, but it's happening. And so we're not doing any justice. I'm not doing any justice if I don't look at everything. With everything that is available in this world, it's at your fingertips. Information is everywhere. And so how are we going to sit there and just disregard all the same stories over and over and over again? How are we going to do that? And I can't look away. And so to turn away is to silence another victim. Straight up. It's a slap in the face to every one of these victims. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to stay in my little safe space. I wasn't given that opportunity. It's very rude and cold and real, and it's called reality, and it sucks. And so if we don't learn about these things, about the occult, about these secret societies, and quit getting gaslit by this damn church and other churches that do the same shit, then we're going to continue to have Tylee and JJ's and Charles and Tammy's and Joe's and the Frankie children. We're going to continue to have Melanie Boudreau kids. She was trying to get her hands on those kids. What for? What? Okay. Somebody requires the payment of children. I don't know, but I have a good idea where this goes. I hope you're following me on this. Anyways, we have to destigmatize people's views of this, because I was just as ignorant coming into this. Straight up was like, oh my God, that is so weird and so dark. It is dark. Okay. Just imagine the last moments of these kids' lives that are foreign to them, were foreign to them, to see, your mother snuffing you out with her friends, with people that go to church with you. And, and just think how messed up and jacked up that is. That is the ultimate betrayal. Anyways, so sorry, I went off on a tangent. Part of what has made, okay, so I already read all that. So I do believe that Tom in those documents is named Neil Maxwell. So we're going to find that out. I'm going to go look as soon as I get off of here. Finally, we will discuss how the Mormon Church was made aware of Tom Harrison and his book. They're friends with him, okay? I've known that from the beginning. And his book in the 2012-2013 time period, and chose to promote. Sounds like Jason Mao, huh? Oh, here, you want to come work for the CES, the church education system? You want to come be on our payroll, pal? What a dick. Anyways, and chose to promote Tom to bishop instead of to punish him or make an example, I'll say, and or stop the publishing of his book. You can't really stop people from publishing their books, but you can definitely not endorse them and then wipe them off your freaking website and all your affiliate links and everything. When you decide to distance yourself, church, you are an asshole, church. I'm straight up. You are the biggest, ugliest, nastiest example. You are opposite of what your title says. The only thing Jesus Christ about you, church, is in your name. And you had to put a copyright on that. They make me sick. Okay, lost my spot. This is Lauren Matthias, True Crime Podcast, and Megan Connor, Lori's cousin, right? and Mindy Caldwell, Mormon super sleuther, will be joining us for this panel discussion. One day, maybe they'll ask me what I think, right? Anyway, so I'm going to be watching this because finally it gives validity to everything that I've been screaming from the top of my lungs since this pretty much began. Oh man, it pisses me off. Because people want to be so ignorant and just what do you call that? And just label other people. And instead of just getting comfortable with these things, right? It's tomorrow. It said 20 hours from now. Don't get me doing the math. It's 8:00 Central where I'm at right now. So 20 hours, 765. So I guess 4. Oh, okay. Thank you, Don. Yeah, tomorrow. Let me grab that link and I'll share in the chat. Okay. It is in the chat right now. So be sure you tune in for that. I know I am. And maybe, I don't know, might go live again tomorrow. I think it's gonna, evoke a lot of emotion and a lot of knowledge out of me. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you can mention, I mean, I try not to promote other creators or whatever, because it can sometimes cause conflict. So, but no, yeah, and I saw that for myself, and I gave her a text and shared what I think it is and who I think it is and where it goes. And I don't know why, but nobody's ever asked either. So I have to kind of just butt in and say, hey, this is what I've been saying. Don't just acknowledge me now because it finally came up on on your radar. Okay. But you know what? It sucks to be right. But I don't want to be right about this. I never did want to be right about this. Because it really makes for a lot more shittier people. You're like, oh, okay, the two that are responsible for this are, they're in jail. And all right, I feel safer. But really, you should freaking oh my God, all the people around them. There's more to the story. There always has been. You just that's scary. They're out free, okay? They're playing with the kids, their grandchildren. They are sitting in next to you in sacrament meeting or whatever all the things are called. What about the rest of them? Amen, sister. Right? What about the damn rest of them? And they all believe up is down, down is up, and in is out, and left is right, and right is left. And I whole ass hug you too. Oh, this has been an absolute mountain of BS, right? Right. But wow, talk about, let me tell you right here. I'm the first one to admit to y'all, I used to deny, when I would date or whatever, when I was single, and I would, meet someone and I'd be like, oh yeah, he's so great. And then all the alarms and bells and whistles are going off and saying, no, it's not going to work. And I would ignore that. You don't ignore that. Okay. Don't ignore that. That is your intuition. That is your gut instinct. That is your mind, body, and soul. Everything's talking and it's trying to tell you something. Listen to that still small voice. Listen to it because it's usually not wrong. And I'm the biggest example of this, but I'm glad I didn't discount my gut feeling on this. I'm glad I followed it. It's been hard and this has been so difficult. This has been the most difficult part of it. It really has. But I feel relief finally, because it's unfortunately come to play a big part into this, just like I thought. And run, don't walk. Right, Jess? Oh, thank you, Juniper Tarot and Astrology. You are too, you know? Yeah. Oh, I never did upload the other one. My bad. Okay, so I'm gonna exit on the new I'm a god, or they call me a god, or whatever. So on our way out, I'm gonna play. Oh, I pushed the wrong thing. Imagine that. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank y'all for being here. And this is KJ's right. This is a time for us to just be in the moment, to just think about all the good things that we've learned and that we know about Tylee and JJ, and how they have affected and impacted our own lives and our views and how we see things. All the lessons we have learned, it's because of them. It's because of their stories. And I couldn't be more proud of them, and more proud to be a family member to them. And they are sorely missed, and they're loved beyond measure, right? And that's not just for me. That is from you too. And I love that because they do live on through us, through the difficult parts, through the uncomfortable parts. But they teach us so many things. And so that makes their lives not in vain. Their deaths, that makes their deaths not in vain. And I can subscribe to that all the live long day. Speaking of, if y'all would please go hit the like button and, subscribe, click notifications to all, so that we can continue our research, our difficult ass research. Okay. So with that being said, and I'm hidden, thank you guys. And I appreciate y'all so much. Let's see. Video YouTube. Okay. Sorry. I gotta upload it. All right. And love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. I'll see you guys, or we may huddle up after the Mormon Stories podcast, okay? Tomorrow. Be sure to watch it because it's going to be enlightening, I'll say. Love you guys.
The point is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity, telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences.
Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god. Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a god. 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 I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. Wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me. Put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a god. Call me a god.
I'm called of God. Called of God. And she says, Tim Ballard told me he'd been called of God. Some wild-eyed prophet, like.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I